ahead and call this meeting to order. NAG Transportation Review Committee. Just a couple of reminders to make sure that your mics are off unless you're speaking, and then turn your mic on and turn it back off when you're done. Because we're in a virtual meeting, we will need to do a roll call at the beginning of the meeting and for each vote that's taken. So for those members that are using a phone, make sure that when to unmute yourself, that you press *6 to do the unmute. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Linda to kick us off with our first roll call.
Thank you, Chair. When I call your name, please indicate that you are present for the record. Grant Anderson. Chris Bridges.
Here.
Thank you. Greg Byers. Dan Clevenger.
Present.
Jason Crampton.
Here.
Thank you. Jorge Gastelum.
Present.
Thank you. Henry Ukwa.
Yes.
Thank you. Gary Baker.
Present.
Thank you. Scott Lowe.
I'm here.
Thank you. Adina Lund.
Here.
Thank you. Hal Marin. Jamie McCracken.
Gabriel Elias for Jamie McCracken.
Oh, thank you, Gabriel. Greg McDowell.
Here.
Thank you. Mark Melichenko. Mark, are you here? I see
Yes,
you.
I'm here. Can you
There
hear me?
you are. Thank you. Yes, I can now. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Sumeet Mohan.
I'm here.
Thank you. Paul Mood.
Here.
Thank you. Mark Moore. Eduardo Rodales. Christopher Salas.
Present.
Thank you. Woodrow Scouten. Robert Yabez.
Here.
Thank you. Ed Stillings.
Here.
Thank you. Bob Thaxton.
Sorry.
Kristen
Here.
Teitler. Oh,
Thaxton.
Bob, are you here? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Chris Wanamaker.
Here.
Thank you. Michael Weber.
Here.
Thank you. Troy White.
Here.
Thank you. Steve Wilcox.
I'm here.
Thank you. Herschel Workman.
Present.
Thank you. RJ Zetter. And Chair, you are here. We have a quorum.
Great, thank you, Linda. Okay, item 2 is the call to the audience. And we did have one comment that we received, and Linda's going to read that comment into the record.
Thank you. We received one public comment from John Logan, resident of Buckeye. I will begin comment. I am hoping that with the widening of I-10 through Buckeye, that there will be a sound wall installed to shield the West Park community from the noise. This would be the area near Miller Road. I live half a mile south of the freeway and the noise is very loud, so I can imagine what it will be like after adding additional lanes. End of comment. Chair, that concludes public comment.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Item 3 is the Transportation Policy and Planning Director's report. Tim Stroh, our Transportation Policy and Planning Director, will provide a report to the committee. Tim?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of Transportation Review Committee. Great to see everybody today. We have a few updates for the group, just to get you up to speed on a few items. One of the first things I want to talk about is Patrick Stone and his team wanted me to pass along a big thank you to all the committee members who were involved in submitting applications for the call for projects that closed last Friday. We know it takes a lot of work to submit these applications, and so we want to thank you for that, and thank you for making this a very smooth process this year. So hats off to you. Also, Patrick wanted me to pass along, as part of the regional competitive programs call for projects, an additional request was made for MAG member agencies located in Pinal County to submit Pinal County regional priority projects related to the Rural Transportation Advocacy Council activities. Due to timing constraints, these projects will be evaluated at a special street transportation committee meeting on September 28th, and recommendations will go straight to the MAG Management Committee for proposed funding selection. As I said, please contact Patrick Stone after the meeting with any questions on this item. Also, I want to thank all the committee members who requested to participate on the TRC working group that will examine the impact that utility providers are having on local construction projects. We are in the process right now. We've had a good response. We're in the process right now of scheduling that meeting. So I anticipate that to occur in the next week to 2 weeks. So if any of you have not responded to me, please let me know after the meeting if you have any interest in participating. Next item is, after the meeting today, Linda will be sending out a memo requesting letters of interest for the TRC vice chair position. The chair and vice chair appointments of the MAG TRC are due to expire on December 31st, 2021. Officers for the technical committee serve 2-year terms. The vice chair will ascend to the chair position, and a new vice chair will be approved by the MAG executive committee. Letters of interest are requested to be submitted by Monday, November 1st, 2021, and emailed to myself. We are also looking for regional balance when selecting the vice chair position. Since the city of Phoenix is the chair now, and RJ Zetter from the city of Mesa will be ascending to the chair role, it'd be beneficial for sub-regional balance to have a West Valley representative fill the vice chair position. Please contact me after this meeting if you have any additional questions on this item. And again, please take a look for that a memo that'll be coming out after the meeting today. Also, all of you are aware, the entire region is aware, that Broadway Curve is under construction. Please remember to check their website and download the Curve app to stay up to date on construction updates. The Curve app, if you have not downloaded it, is a fantastic tool. It displays live traffic information in the project area, nearby roads and highways. It's a hands-free look-ahead feature that will announce upcoming closures, restrictions, and incidents as drivers approach the project area. It also sends you push notifications. And like I said, you can find out more information on this on the Broadway Curve website. My last item, Mr. Chair, is Wong Zhang from the MAG Transportation Technologies and Services Division. Wanted me to let the committee know that MAG is entering the last task order with consultants to complete the valley-wide bike and ped non-motorized traffic data collection effort. If you recall, we are collecting data at 500 locations across the valley. This effort was postponed due to COVID in 2020 and is now scheduled to finish by the spring of 2022. The collected information will be shared with MAG member agencies for active transportation planning and other relevant analysis. Please contact Wong after the meeting if you have any questions. Mr. Chair, that completes my report.
Great, thank you, Tim. Great update. Are there any members of the committee that have any questions for Tim? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to item 4, which is the approval of the consent agenda, which contains 3 items: the approval of the August 26th meeting minutes, the 4B is the TIP project changes, and 4C is on-call consulting services selection for the fiscal year 22 MAG transportation performance on-call. Would anyone like to have any of those items pulled out for questions or comment? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Chair, this is Chris.
Move to approve.
I'll second. Chris Bridges.
Okay, motion from Scott Lowe, second from Chris Bridges. And we will do a roll call for a vote on the motion.
Thank you, Chair. When I call your name, please indicate how you vote. Chris Bridges.
Aye.
Thank you. Jason Crampton.
Aye.
Thank you. Jorge Gastelum.
Aye.
Thank you. Henry Ikwat Ukwa.
Aye.
Thank you. Gary Baker.
Aye.
Thank you. Scott Lowe.
Aye.
Thank you. Adina Lund.
Aye.
Thank you. Gabriel Elias.
Aye.
Thank you. Greg McDowell.
Aye.
Thank you. Mark Melichenko.
Aye.
Thank you. Sumit Mohan.
Aye.
Thank you. Paul Mood.
Aye.
Thank you. Christopher Salas.
Aye.
Thank you. Robert Yedes.
Aye.
Thank you. Bob Thaxton.
Aye.
Thank you. Kristen Teitler. Kristen, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christopher Wanamaker.
Aye.
Thank you. Michael Weber.
Aye.
Thank you. Troy White.
Aye.
Thank you. Steve Wilcox.
Aye.
Thank you. Herschel Workman.
Aye.
Thank you. And Chair, how do you vote?
Vote aye.
Thank you. Have I missed anybody?
Dan Clevenger is aye.
Oh, thank you, Dan.
RJ Zeter, I just joined. Aye.
Thank you, RJ. Chair, the motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you, Linda. Item 5 is a presentation on the Regional Bus Rapid Transit Feasibility Study. And here to do the presentation is Audra Kester-Thomas. So I'll turn it over to you, Audra.
Thank you, Chairman Paniagua, members of Transportation Review Committee. Pleased to be giving this presentation to you today on behalf of Jennifer Valentine, our study lead, and Kara Nasser of MAG. This is on your agenda today for recommended acceptance. Next slide. We initiated this study really as in a twofold effort. One as an outfall of the Regional Transit Framework study conducted several years ago. This is one of two studies that followed, the other being the commuter bus study, but also in recognition of the development of the next regional transportation plan and efforts to extend the dedicated sales tax here in Maricopa County. We knew that bus rapid transit, while not yet implemented in this region, was quite viable. And really, with the city of Phoenix taking the lead, including BRT and their own local initiative funding available in T2050, we looked to partner with our center city, recognizing the potential regional benefits of a bus rapid transit system and the next generation of investments. Next slide. You'll see here the overall process. Our study facilitated over approximately a year and a half. We are now completed with this study, delivering the final report again today for your recommendation for acceptance. Next slide. You'll see here a little bit more detail in the tasks associated with this project. It did include community and stakeholder outreach. We did start this project with some peer region analysis, reaching out to those who had already implemented bus rapid transit successfully in other parts of the country, and then ultimately leading to the ultimate recommendations of high priority corridors. Next slide. You'll see here our study area, largely bound here in the center core inside the loops. Next slide. That's because we're taking a transit propensity approach to this work, recognizing that transit products that are high capacity transit in nature and focused, like bus rapid transit, are successful only in those areas for which there is transit propensity to support. These are higher density areas where there are adjacent populations or activity centers that really can utilize and use this product effectively. We want to make sure we're identifying the scarce resources that we do have, both at a regional level and local, to ensure the corridor development we identify is in the highest value locations. Next slide. You'll also see here, as mentioned, activity centers, recognizing, especially for choice riders, and largely how even our light rail system has developed, the connection to key activity centers, both in terms of entertainment, as well as employment key to this analysis. Next slide. Vision, goals, and objectives are outlined here as part of the study. We had a high emphasis, of course, on the regional system and mobility that we wanted to achieve. Again, providing balance to our transportation system and recognizing different modes address and solve different transportation problems in our continually growing, densifying, but yet still diverse region. We also took some time to develop regional performance and design standards, at least from a regional perspective. With funding available for BRT, we want to make sure that it's a product that is high performance, that achieves a lot of the same benefits as light rail, perhaps with that little bit smaller price tag, and wanted to be partners with our cities in ensuring that kind of effort is guided by some design standards that are regionally acceptable. We also recognize, however, there's differences across the region, but also that this is a tool for future development in TOD. And so we took that all as part of this process. Next slide. You'll see here the corridors that were evaluated in a two-tiered evaluation process, again, spanning really the entirety of our study area. Next slide. And you'll see the evaluation criteria, again, anchored in those elements that make transit work. Transit's unique. We can't just put a line on a map where we hope it'll work. It really is demand driven, and the land use associated with those decisions is so important to making high capacity transit work in particular. Next slide. You'll see ultimately here the recommended future BRT network. You'll see a tiering of evaluation, and those higher priority corridors that are top of the list perform better against those criteria on the previous slide indicated. You also see kind of a next extension or kind of a next generation of potential corridors that still sit here for potential evaluation into the future. You'll also acknowledge the City of Phoenix corridors. As I mentioned, this study was done in partnership and alongside the City of Phoenix's continued investment and study in future BRT. As I've mentioned, they have money on the table themselves to implement BRT. We're excited for them and really helping bring the region along for this opportunity. So you'll see those different kinds of corridors identified here. As part of our study recommendations, these flew right into our RTP evaluation process as we were going through that performance-based process to identify investments across modal spectrums for the extension of Proposition 400. We're thrilled that not only the timing of this study aligned with, but ultimately 3 corridors will be receiving funding to help support implementation of BRT in the region. Those 3 corridors are 35th Avenue, Scottsdale Rural Road, as well as Arizona Avenue Country Club Boulevard. Those 3 corridors are included in the proposed investment plan that was unanimously approved by Regional Council this summer. Next slide. Again, a little bit of a highlight on that performance and design standards I mentioned earlier. We wanted to make sure we provided a kind of a litmus test and guidance for the region as these projects are implemented over the course of the next 10, 15, 20 years from now. Again, high amount of collaboration and coordination with Valley Metro and City of Phoenix, recognizing and implementing, considering those FTA guidance and guidelines associated with BRT. But also recognize the dynamicness of the region. We're going to want to, the region particularly wants to invest in a high quality product. So to the degree possible, a dedicated right of way is obviously the most valued part of a BRT investment, but we recognize that perhaps not in the entirety of the corridor that is realistic. And so with those right-of-way constraints considered, we also recommended, in addition to that, the suite of amenities that would complement a BRT product. Next slide. Again, in terms of the implementation considerations, a dynamicness that we have to be responsive to. I mentioned a few of these already. Access management certainly being high on that list. The recognition that there's a TOD component or redevelopment opportunity associated with a BRT product as well. Next slide. Again, collaboration and outreach driven by a technical advisory group from the cities within the study area. Mentioned already that peer agency interview that we did from across the country. We also engaged the public, a lot of positive feedback from a regional perspective, but also through the cities that we partnered with. We produced an educational video because it is a new product to the region. We did an online survey. We also facilitated an interactive online virtual workshop. Many of you probably have tested out this kind of a product in your own communities as we've navigated the pandemic, but still needed to advance our work, including that virtual public meeting in October. Next slide. For those of you who may have visited the site, you'll recall seeing this again, looking like that classic workshop setting that we would have traditionally hosted in person, but creating that in a virtual platform. Next slide. With that, Chairman Paniagua, that completes my presentation. As mentioned, this is on your agenda today for consideration. It comes out of Transit Committee, who did in fact endorse and recommend acceptance of the regional bus rapid transit feasibility study. I stand by for any questions.
Great, thank you, Audra. As you mentioned, the City of Phoenix is moving forward with BRT within the city, and we're very excited about it. This is part of our Transportation 2050 program, which was a component of our Proposition 104 sales tax approved about 6 years ago. And so we've done quite a bit of community engagement on this as well. And we are recommending moving forward with an initial corridor for 35th Avenue. You saw that on as one of the corridors shown on the map. 35th Avenue, essentially from Metro Center out west to 35th Avenue, and then north and south on 35th Avenue to Van Buren, and then Van Buren to Central Station at Central Avenue and Van Buren. So again, we're really excited about that. We actually are going to the City Council on October 6th for approval of that initial corridor and moving forward. And once we get that approval, assuming all goes well, we'll further refine the program schedule, begin the corridor planning, and develop all the funding plan partners and available tools to move everything forward. So just a little bit more context there for you with regard to what City of Phoenix is doing right now. But yeah, I turn it over to the committee for any questions.
Mr. Chairman, Scott Lowe.
Yes, Scott.
Yeah, I think this whole thing is really good, and but I think eventually, and not too far from the future, we're going to have to start recognizing the rapid growth in the West Valley, and you know, the lack of transit that's happening in the West Valley. So something like this is really going to have to be looked at for, you know, west of the city limits of Phoenix. You know, obviously Buckeye is growing like leaps and bounds, and the 685 route is all that's happening in Buckeye. So anyway, just a comment that we're gonna have to start looking towards the west in the future.
Absolutely, Chairman Paniagua, Mr. Lowe. Certainly Bus Rapid Transit is one of many products on the spectrum of transit solutions. This is a high capacity transit option driven really through a successful implementation in a system where there's high density, deep development. But there's a spectrum of other transit alternatives, and particularly connecting to some of our farther reaches, whether it's commuter bus or express bus. Certainly circulation within our activity centers. We have a unique development pattern in this region. We're polycentric. We don't have just one core, but several different major activity centers anchored across this extremely large region. So there's different viability of transit products to move people in and around those activity centers, for which MAG, as our ongoing commitment to planning, can certainly investigate as that development occurs.
Thank you, Audra, and thank you, Scott, for your comments about really thinking through how we can integrate the West Valley in all of our transit system and options. Well, any other questions or comments from committee?
Chair Paniagua, this is Mark Melnichenko.
Yes, Mark.
Good morning. I had a couple of items. I know when we have light rail, we are augmented that service with light rail or with local bus to make the quarter mile and half mile connections. Would that be part of this BRT plan also? I would think it would need to be, and it would be if because I know that probably the BRT service would be at specific times. But that was one of my first questions. And then also, I appreciate the graphic and the discussion about that shows the potential connections to adjoining cities. I know we have a potential BRT corridor on Scottsdale Road that connects Tempe and Chandler, but there were also some dashed lines that connect other cities, and that's appreciative because I think that would be important with the system. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Chairman Paniagua, Mr. Milenchenko, for that question and comment and our appreciation that that a product like this is regional in nature. We agree. Things can change too with development patterns, and so we want to be cognizant and flexible into the future. Regarding your first question about supportive service, no doubt a high capacity transit option, whether it's light rail or bus rapid transit, needs to be fed by local service. We would be looking and expecting the local agencies interested in implementing BRT, ensuring that their local service that feeds into that corridor is sufficient to really make a viable product, whether it's light rail or bus rapid transit. So I think you've hit on an important note and something we can't take for granted. We got to get people to the high capacity transit corridor as well, and local service is going to be critical in doing so.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Audra. Thank you, Mark. And I guess one other thing I would add to that is just the importance of making sure it all works well together, that we're not duplicating efforts, that we are complementing the different modes, the BRT, local, light rail, that they're all working together efficiently as a whole system. And the way we design it has to include that consideration. So thank you, Mark. It's a really good point. Any other comments?
Mr. Chair, this is Chris Bridges and Gilbert.
Yeah, Chris.
I just wanted to thank Audra and the team for doing a good job on this study. I thought it went well, although I came in mid-cycle. They were able to get me up to speed pretty quick. And even though Gilbert's a future route and not a blue line, that's okay. But at least we're on there. So thank you, Audra, and please tell the team thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Any other comments? It's a great discussion today. Okay, no other comments or questions? Okay, so this actually is an action item for acceptance of the regional BRT feasibility study. Can I get a motion for approval?
This is Jason with Chandler. I move to approve.
Thank you, Jason.
Robert Yabbitt, City of Tempe, second.
Thank you, Robert. Okay, we'll go to Linda for our roll call.
Thank you, Chair. When I call your name, please indicate how you vote. Chris Bridges.
Aye.
Thank you. Dan Clevenger.
Aye.
Thank you. Jason Crampton.
Aye.
Thank you. Jorge Gastelum.
Aye.
Thank you. Henry Ikwa.
Aye.
Thank you. Gary Baker.
Aye.
Thank you. Scott Lowe.
Aye.
Thank you. Adina Lund.
Aye.
Thank you. Gabriel Elias.
Aye.
Thank you. Greg McDowell.
Aye.
Thank you. Mark Melenchenko.
Aye.
Thank you. Sumit Mohan.
Aye.
Thank you. Paul Mood.
Aye.
Thank you. Christopher Salas.
Aye.
Thank you. Robert Yebes.
Aye.
Thank you. Bob Thaxton.
Aye.
Thank you, Kristen Teitler.
Aye.
Thank you, Chris Wanamaker.
Aye.
Thank you, Michael Weber.
Aye.
Thank you, Troy White.
Aye.
Thank you, Steve Wilcox.
Aye.
Thank you, Herschel Workman.
Aye.
Thank you, RJ Zetter.
Aye.
Thank you, and Chair, how do you vote?
Vote aye.
Thank you. Have I missed anybody? Thank you. The motion passes unanimously.
Great. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, everybody. Item 6 is our opportunity for any updates from our member agencies. Do any members of the committee have any updates or announcements? Okay, hearing none. That takes us to item 7, which is our request for future agenda items. Are there any requests for future agenda items? All right, short meeting today. Really appreciate everybody being here and the discussion we had. With that, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.